GOP is split over ABC's pulling Jimmy Kimmel's late-night talk show off the air. Several prominent Republican senators speaking out, from Ted Cruz, concerned over free speech implications, to others saying businesses have the right to remove what doesn't fit with their brand.
We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yeah.
And I got to say, that's right out of Goodfellas.
Absolutely inappropriate. Brendan Carr's got no business weighing in on this.
And for anyone to say that we're trying to silence free speech, these are the same people that didn't stick up for Tucker Carlson when he got fired for speaking his mind about COVID on Fox.
So joining us now, NewsNation media contributor Steve Krakauer. Steve, really interested in your take here. You know, Bill O'Reilly was on NewsNation days ago making the argument that pulling Jimmy Kimmel off the air was not a free speech issue. We have a clip here.
This isn't about censorship, all right? This is about responsibility. And as you pointed out correctly, every corporation has a responsibility to make sure the product it is selling is an honest product. And by saying that MAGA might have been responsible for murder, not only is that defamatory, but it's outrageous.
So what are your thoughts, Steve, on that, framing how this issue is now dividing the Republican Party?
Yeah, it's a tough one. This is a tough one, I have to say. It's very nuanced, because I do think that there's a few elements at play here. Jimmy Kimmel is not getting banned from Twitter or X and Facebook and other social media platforms because of speech that's deemed offensive or dangerous, like happened to Donald Trump back in 2021. That was censorship. He is also not getting, canceled by his job as a teacher because of something that he posted, 10 years ago or something, which is more of like cancel culture. Now, so it's not really a free speech issue. What I don't like, and what I do think that Ted Cruz is getting at and other people, is the idea, the feeling, whether real or perceived, that the head of the FCC is pressuring ABC to take action so that he doesn't go and start some investigation and try to drum up something that's happening behind the scenes. I don't like that. I don't like the government forcing companies for what they need to do. But I actually don't think that that's what's happening. In fact, I think the owner of NewsNation and other outlets said, listen, we don't really like the way that he went after people. And whether you want to say, he wasn't really saying it was a MAGA shooter, he was actually saying that the MAGA people were trying to say it wasn't a MAGA. I mean, like, who cares? It was a disgusting, ghoulish monologue that he did about Charlie Kirk, and then he did it again on Tuesday the next day. So this is the kind of person he is, and people who are consumers of a broadcast outlet, which is very different than cable, which is very different than digital, are making choices that say this is public airwaves. And I don't know if I feel comfortable about this person being on the air. He's not gone forever. Maybe he comes back in a couple days. Maybe he works out some deal. Maybe lets his thing cool off. But right now, what he's saying is disgusting. And we're getting enough people who are sending us emails or who are calling into the station to say, we don't really like this guy. This feels really gross. And so they have every right to take him off the air. That is not cancel culture. Now, the only thing I would say is the Trump administration, the FCC, are they tipping the scales in one direction? I don't think they did, but there's certainly the appearance of that is there, and that's where we get into a little bit of an issue.
Well, and you know what, and there are rumblings that he may be coming back, and in what capacity, we don't know. But I did want to ask you, Steve, what's really fascinating about all of this is sort of the way our fundamental freedom of speech is really being challenged here. What are your thoughts on everything we've seen unfold since Charlie Kirk's assassination and where we end up ultimately? We have about a minute left, unfortunately.
I think that Charlie Kirk was one of the greatest champions for free speech. He was practicing free speech and the free exchange of ideas himself. He was doing it on college campuses. He was doing it on his show. And so in honor of Charlie Kirk, I would say that we want to champion free speech as well. So I would say to Jimmy Kimmel, you have every right to say all the disgusting things you want to say about Charlie Kirk and his supporters on a podcast if you want to do that, or even if you wanted to maybe head on over to MSNBC and if you wanted to do that. Getting a gigantic, $10, $15 million contract from ABC, one of the very few broadcast outlets, that changes the equation a little bit. So if you want to do that, you're operating on a different rules of a different game. And that is something that we have to pay attention to. It is not free speech if you lose your ABC job, but get some gigantic podcast deal. You have every right to say it. Charlie Kirk would want you to be able to have the right to say it. You are not getting canceled for it. You can say it on Instagram or anywhere you want. But I think that in this moment, we actually want to champion free speech. We want people to get their ideas out there, even as disgusting as they might be.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.